What is this show even for anymore?
We don't know, and to be honest, it feels like the showrunner and the writers of this show don't know either. After the butchering of books to make this show fit the worldview of current Hollywood creators, we had to endure semi-watchable 2 seasons that had exactly one redeeming quality about them: Henry Cavill. And even Mr. Witcher himself became frustrated and tired of the apparent disrespect going on behind the scenes, leaving the show and giving us a goodbye in form of season 3, before he will be replaced by Liam Hemsworth. But here's the thing. Watching season 3, I see exactly why Cavill got so angry that he abandoned the character that possibly was his favorite character to play to date. Witcher season 3 is somehow even worse than season 1 and 2, and I can't imagine anyone will be enthusiastically tuning in to season 4 when it arrives. My problems with this show still remain the same they were from the start. Creators treat the books like a nuisance rather than an actual source material. Add unnecessary, cringeworthy comedic aspect to scenes that could make us feel the importance and gravity of the story. Turn every single character into unmemorable, one-dimensional shadow of themselves, and artificially insert relationships established in the books without actually developing them organically in the show. The series is such a ball of chaos that if I wasn't so frustrated by it, I might actually start to think it was intentional. But let's start with my first criticism: the lore and the source material. There are so many things changed, brushed off, and overly simplified in this show about the continent, its history, and the characters inhabiting it. But the biggest offender is the origin of Witchers and how that changes the dynamic between Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri. According to the writers and our lovely, horrendous spin-off Witcher Blood Origins, in this version, unlike in the books, First Witcher was elfish. But also, more importantly, Witchers were never infertile. This change throws out everything about the core of the story and changes it completely, because both Geralt and Yennefer couldn't have kids in the books. The miracle child surprise in form of Cirilla became their surrogate daughter, and all three of them developed a strong bond resembling family. And you could say we are getting that in season 3 on the surface. But the problem is none of the show characters here earned these feelings towards each other. It's like the scene between Geralt and Ciri that ended season 1. She finally meets him in the woods, and because writers and the audience feel that this meeting is significant, the script tells Ciri to fall into Geralt's hug. But at this point in her story, she has no idea who Geralt is. She just knows she was supposed to find him, but she has zero connection to him. So her running to his arms as if she's already his child makes zero sense. And that's not the only instance of artificially inserted relationships that we are just supposed to accept without going on a journey of earning them with characters. Book Witchers accept Ciri at Kaer Morhen immediately, but the show versions reject her, making the season 2 finale moment falling flat when Ciri is supposed to be brought back from possession by her surrogate family. Book Yennefer never betrays Ciri and Geralt because she never loses her powers, and instead tutors Ciri at the Temple of Melitele, earning a tremendous amount of respect from Cirilla. At the beginning of season 3, Ciri in the show suddenly treats Yen with that amount of respect. But at this point in the show, this woman has done nothing for her but betray her and use her. Their scenes establishing them as a family feel fake and forced. And that's also mostly due to the fact that nothing is important in this show. We move from POV to POV of secondary characters that casual viewers don't even remember existed, hopping around the continent that is simultaneously super small because everything looks the same, but also feels so overly complicated that people who haven't read the books can't even tell Nilfgaard from Redania. But above else, everything in the dialogues and the story is painfully literal, with no place for nuanced politics and subtext. Comedy that isn't even funny replaces true emotions and heartfelt moments. Great example of this is the epic butchering of one of my favorite scenes from the books. In this scene, the trio plus Jaskier reunite after Geralt and Yennefer haven't seen each other for a very, very long time, and they start arguing while Jaskier and Ciri watch them from a distance. In the show, they make fun of the Witcher and the Sorceress, mimicking them and making crude jokes about tongues, while Geralt and Yennefer kiss and make up. I'm gonna read you the original version of the scene so that you could see what it was supposed to be about. Madame Yennefer is standing by a willow. She's plucking leaves and playing with her star. She isn't saying anything and isn't even looking at Geralt. And Geralt's standing beside her. He's looking down and he's saying something. No, he isn't. Oh, he's pulling a face. What a strange expression. Childishly simple, said Dandelion, finding an apple in the grass, wiping it on his trousers and examining it critically. He's asking her to forgive him for his various foolish words and deeds. He's apologizing to her for his impatience, for his lack of faith and hope, for his obstinacy, doggedness, for his sulking and posing, which are unworthy of a man. He's apologizing to her for things he didn't understand and for things he hadn't wanted to understand. That's the falsest lie, said Ciri. You're making it all up. He's apologizing for things he's only now understood, said Dandelion, for what he'd like to understand but is afraid he won't have time for, and for what he will never understand. He's apologizing and asking for forgiveness. That's not true. Geralt isn't saying anything like that. He's not even speaking. I saw for myself he's standing with her and saying nothing. That's the role of poetry, Ciri, to say what others cannot utter. It's a stupid role, and you're making everything up. That is also the role of poetry. Hey, I hear some raised voices coming from the pond. Have a quick look and see what's happening there. Geralt, said Ciri, is standing with his head bowed, and Yennefer's yelling at him. She's screaming and waving her arms. Oh dear, what can it mean? It's childishly simple. Now she's saying sorry to him. The scene serves a different purpose here. It isn't a mere kiss scene, but it serves as a reminder who all of them are as characters. And both Yen and Geralt are incredibly stubborn, ego-driven people that can never admit when they are sorry or that they love each other. Also, it showcases how perceptive and intuitive Jaskier is, and how clueless about people and their true intentions Ciri is. All of this is character-driven narrative that gives you insight into them and allows to go on a journey with them. But in the show, it is played for laughs or guilty pleasure, and we effectively lose opportunity to read between the lines as viewers and appreciate genuine and heartfelt scenes between characters. And whenever we get a scene like this, I'm always asking myself, is it me? Am I the problem? Because then I see hundreds of comments saying this is the funniest scene ever. This is the best scene in season 3 so far. And I just feel so deflated that we are so easily distracted by instant gratification of a comic relief, and we completely surrender to this lazy form of storytelling, and can't really differentiate between powerful, memorable, emotional storytelling and a lazy one that makes us into passive viewers and make the story just meaningless and aimed at playing with superficial emotions. We've had 3 seasons of Witcher already, and yet it doesn't feel like I've been anywhere with these characters. I've read all of the books, but I still have to mentally exert myself to remember who any of these people are supposed to be. Is that Fringilla? Is that supposed to be Philippa? And if you have trouble with remembering faces of key players in the story and their motivations, then the writers are not doing a good enough job of making all of them memorable for you. In season 3, we're moments away from the Thanet coup, but I don't feel the suspense, nor the tension and fear of betrayal between any of the mages. Whole thing is a complete jumbled mess, devoid of any interesting action and twists and turns that should be prevalent in this story. Will second half of this season remedy that? Unlikely. And unfortunately, we will have to give Henry Cavill the send-off with a complete and utter apathy. For a show that spends so much time talking about harnessing and controlling chaos, it feels very comfortable with letting it consume it entirely. This show could have been something special. Unfortunately, it didn't deliver, and at this point, we have to say goodbye to it because I don't believe anyone will buy into this seamless transition into Liam Hemsworth. That's all The Witcher's gonna be on screen. Books really are like a meditation on cruelty, how much pain we are willing to inflict on another human beings, and where's that line that you are not willing to cross? What makes you different from the monsters, the supposed monsters that The Witcher is hunting? But now here we are given a watered down version, and I am just so frustrated by this. You know, I filmed video about Secret Invasion earlier on this week, and then I realized I don't think I can post this because I don't even have anything interesting to say about this. It was just me ranting on Marvel for 20 minutes, saying over and over again, what is this show even for? And that's how I feel towards majority of things. That's why you don't see me covering things like The Flash or Indiana Jones or Little Mermaid, because aren't worth my time. There's just nothing to analyze and dissect in there. These things are just unwatchable. So I don't know what we're gonna get in a few months, in a year, because now we have this strike. Now we have the writer's strike. So it's only gonna get worse and worse and worse. I don't know, I don't even know what to say. I'm just glad we're finishing this Witcher torture. I'm gonna watch it just to see how it ends. I'm guessing Geralt will be hurt in the face during the Thanet coup. And that's, in the Yennefer will try to heal him, and that's how we'll arrive at the switch to a different actor. But it isn't worth our time even to finish that story with them. And there's no suspense really. I mean, is anyone still wavering on who the traitor is among the mages? I mean, they made it so obvious in the show. And in the books, I was really hooked and surprised. And Time of Contempt is my favorite book. It's the one with the biggest plot twists and intense action, and that scene that I covered in this video. Tell me now what you guys think about The Witcher. Maybe you loved it and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. All the major studios in Hollywood right now are making the dumbest decisions ever in the history of time, and they are losing billions and billions of dollars because of it, by not listening to their audience. Tell me in the comments, what did you guys think about season 3? Are you watching the next part in July? Will you be watching the Liam Hemsworth version in season 4? Give me something. Do you have anything to recommend? I'm gonna watch The Bear season 2 tomorrow, I think.
I'm also waiting for Good Omens and Only Murders in the Building. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.